Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Kelvin Austin is the real deal. So, yesterday when the Steelers took on the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay, we got to see our first live action of Kelvin Austin with the team. We all heard the stories of training camp of him showing out, and we all know he missed his first rookie season with a Lisfranc injury. Never played one snap either in preseason or in the regular season. So we got his first game action, and he absolutely showed out and showed what we all been looking for is the speed. He showed it all. He finished the game leading both teams in rushing yards and receiving yards. That means he led the Steelers and the Buccaneers in total rushing yards and receiving yards. So he had 2 carries for 23 yards, and he averaged 11.5 yards per carry. But receiving, he had also 2 receptions for 73 yards, which is average of 36.5 yards per reception and 1 touchdown. And you obviously saw him have that long touchdown for 63 yards where he ran straight past his man, the cornerback, down the left sideline, and Mason Rudolph dropped a dime, and he beat his man by like 5 yards for the touchdown. So we've seen him beat his man deep, and that's what we've been seeing all training camp. We see all these highlight videos of Kelvin Austin getting open, whether that be on short passes where he takes it to the house, or him just running past someone and beating his man deep and getting a touchdown. And that's what he showed once again in Tampa Bay when he took on the Buccaneers. There's multiple times where he was open as well, and the quarterback just missed him. So his yards could have been even better. If you remember the play down the right sideline when Mitchell Trubisky threw the interception to Cody White. He just threw the interception because he threw the ball up and gave Cody White a chance to get it. But if you remember, Kelvin Austin, he was wide open down the middle of the field. They were playing man-to-man, and he beat his man by like 5 yards. But Mitchell Trubisky just stared down Cody White and threw the interception instead of getting the easy one to Kelvin Austin for another 30-yard gain. So there's many times where Kelvin Austin was open, and he just showed out his speed in the run game, getting the edge. When he got those jet sweeps, he took it around the edge and beat his man, and just down the sideline in the actual receiving game. He was playing the slots, but also he was playing on the outside, especially with the second unit, and that's what we were waiting to see from him. So, I've been saying this a lot. A lot of people have been labeling Kelvin Austin as just a slot wide receiver, but he's more than that. He's not just a guy who could only line up in a slot, and he showed that yesterday because on that long pass, he was the only wide receiver lined up on the left side. That means that he was not in the slot, he was actually on the outside, and he ran past his guy. And in college, he did not line up in the slot the most. He actually lined up on the outside the most for college through his college career, meaning that he's played both positions, inside and out. People like to label him as just a slot wide receiver because he's smaller and undersized, but I've completely said multiple times that I believe he could play the slot and the outside because he has the quickness to cut inside or outside and to get around the edge and beat his man deep. So he can play wide receiver outside and inside. Yes, he's a smaller wide receiver, and in the run game, you might not want him on the field, but just in the pass game in general, he could play both positions. We have all been waiting for his debut, and it was worth the wait because he absolutely showed out, and he showed the one asset that we all know the Steelers offense has been missing. Him and Anthony McFarland Jr., they showed speed, but specifically Kelvin Austin in the wide receiver game. Yes, the Steelers have Deontay Johnson, who's pretty fast, but he's nothing like Kelvin Austin's just straight speed. Deontay Johnson's more shifty. George Pickens, he showed that little jab step where he broke the defender's ankles, but Kelvin Austin is just straight speed and shiftiness and does it all. And it was worth the wait seeing his speed be utilized in both the run game and the pass game. He did not have any returned kicks, which is a little bit surprising because he was listed as the number 1 punt returner and kick returner on the team. I thought maybe he would at least get like 1 or 2, but no, Jordan Byrd got it all, which kind of makes sense because it's only the preseason game number 1, and maybe they just want to wait until maybe the last preseason game to utilize him there, or maybe even just the regular season. Jordan Bird is fighting for a position spot on the team. He may not make the final roster, so it makes sense to give him a chance to return kicks and punt returns, but Kelvin Austin, he did not get 1 rep there. Something else that was also shocking, I know I shouldn't be complaining about this, but Kelvin Austin, he did not see the field on his first drive, on the Pittsburgh Steelers' first drive of the game. He's listed as the number 4 wide receiver on the team, and Gunnar Olszewski's listed as like the number 7 or number 6. Cody White's listed as like the number 7, number 6. So Kelvin Austin did not see the field on the first drive. George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Allen Robinson, those were the starters at wide receiver. But even Gunnar Olszewski and Cody White, those are the first 2 wide receivers off the bench. Kelvin Austin was the 3rd wide receiver off the bench. So even though he's listed as the number 4 wide receiver on the team, he did not see the field the whole first drive, and Cody White and Gunnar Olszewski both did. So the Steelers utilized Gunnar Olszewski as the first man off the bench and the Cody White off the second. I just don't see a reason why they did that. But Kelvin Austin, when he was in the game, he was a difference maker. And when he did get to see the field on his second drive and the Steelers' second drive of the game, he showed why he should be utilized more often. And even Kenny Pickett saw that, because Kenny Pickett saw and commented after the game on Kelvin Austin's big yardage, and he said, "I like guys that can run. Man, he's got speed." Seeing some different things that he did in the Jet game and running downfield, that was awesome to see. So it's great to see that the quarterback number 1, even though he didn't play any time with Kelvin Austin yesterday, he was just watching to the sideline when Kelvin Austin went in on a second drive because Kenny Pickett scored a touchdown on his first drive, meaning that he was out the game, only played 1 drive with the team. Him watching Kelvin Austin and see him doing all his stuff, maybe that will give Kenny Pickett the opportunity to throw more to him, maybe in the next game they play, or build that connection. Seeing guys that are fast and can just run past their guy is always great to see for a quarterback, and helps the quarterback out so much, because quarterback doesn't have to make these tough throws. These guys who have no separation on these routes, the quarterback has to make the tough throw and get it in between there and be pinpoint accurate. But when you're playing with a guy with speed, it can outrun their man and always get open. It makes it easy for the quarterback, and that's what Kelvin Austin does. He makes it easy for the quarterback because of the separation he's able to create on his route, especially last game. I'm just talking specifically from college and the last game. Obviously, it was still the preseason, and they're going against the number 2s, but now, next week, when they go against the number 1s, and as it continues, we're going to see Kelvin Austin grow. And I totally believe that Kelvin Austin is the real deal, and he has the one thing that you cannot give a player, and a player just cannot get, and they have to come into the league with, is straight speed. He has it, and now he can work on everything else. That speed is a difference maker, and it has shown early on in training camp, and now it has shown very early on in preseason week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, Kelvin Austin, he's the real deal, and it was worth the wait after missing his whole rookie season with a foot injury. He's back, and he's showing out. But, with that being said, let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about Kelvin Austin's first game action with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Not only in the receiving game, but leading the whole game in general, both teams in rushing yards and receiving yards. Let me know your thoughts on how he did. Do you believe that he is a real deal, or do you believe you need to see more from him, and this is just a stepping stone? I believe this is a stepping stone, but I still believe that he's a real deal, and in next game and throughout the regular season, he's going to prove why the Steelers drafted him in the 4th round and why he should have went earlier in the draft. And height and his speed, that doesn't matter, and he's a real deal. But with that being said, that's the end of this video. Let me know down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content and analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for the channel as well, so you get notified whenever I post next year's video. I cover Pittsburgh Steelers football, and I covered it all. I covered all the off season, but now we're into the preseason, and I'm covering all the preseason as well. There's still a few practices left, so I'm going to cover all that. If we sign some new guys to the roster after yesterday's game, or if they cut people when they do the roster cutdowns, I'm covering all. So you never want to miss out on all the Steelers football news. And this is the best spot to keep update with all of it. If you don't want to have to go anywhere else, you just want one spot, this is a place to be subscribed with notifications on. But with that being said, like, comment, subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.